Hello everyone and welcome to game 3 in a series between Nerchio and Nerchio and dug himself in a little bit of a hole. So we'll see what's going to happen here in this series so far. Nerchio is behind 2-0 as game 3 does get underway. Nerchio spawning on the top left hand side of the map as the blue Zerg. Meanwhile, Polt spawning on the bottom right hand side of the map as the red Terran. Terran versus Zerg on Shakura's plateau. We'll see what's going to go down on this map, as this map is one of those maps where I'm kind of torn in terms of balance. It is very easy for Zerg to establish up that second base, but then again, most maps do have that. For Zerg, it is a little bit more difficult to establish that third. But because it is force east-west spawns, not necessarily force cross spawns, it does give a Zerg player plenty of time to figure out what to happen and what to do in a game with proper creep spread. Now, what they do make up for in terms of a not so accessible third, they do make up for or they do enjoy a very, very nice, rather open mid. You can see that there's 3 entryways, one along the north, one in the mid, one in the south. And although there are some choke points here, this area here is just wide open, and there is a very wide open area off over here as well. So Terran and Zerg players, or Zerg players, generally have to utilize that open space to their advantage. But again, that wide space is rather difficult for Zerg to transfer drones and queens. So for every up, there does seem to be a down. Now, Polt opening up with a rather unusual double racks pressure here on the map. It is not proxy racks by any means, and surprisingly, there are no supply depots that are currently raised or lowered into this location here. And because of that, you may see a double bunker placement down here, and double bunker placement does set back a Zerg player very fast, and it is very difficult for them to make any maneuvers back out. You're going to see this one SCV making its way across the map now, getting up into this position. We are going to have a hatchery off over here. The hatchery is about 66% done, and then we'll see what this SCV does try to do. SCV currently going to perhaps just scout his way up. I do not believe, nope, Nerchio does spot it as a drone does come off the mineral line there, and an SCV is now attempting to place down a bunker. A bunker now being placed down. It looks like that SCV is taking a little bit of damage. Oh, the drone now trying to come over. Are the drones going to be able to surround it is the key question, as that SCV dances around and now taking a little bit of damage there, as now Marines and a new fresh SCV coming over. Oh, this SCV is going to be in a little bit of problems as Polt now comes over, as again, a couple SCVs now being brought over as well. Where is the Marine? The Marine needs to be nearby in order to get into some additional damage. SCVs are all repairing here, as 2 Marines better than 1, as a second bunker now being placed on as well. Marines going up against some Zerglings, the third Marine now coming in and joining on the fight, and this is looking really bad as the drones now are being pulled over here, and now this is a triple bunker on the front door. 1 Marine now is going to get taken down, but the problem here is that the drones have nowhere to go. Zerglings attempting to push their way back in, and every time that these buildings are up, every second that they're up, it is preventing drones from mining. This bunker will be salvaged there, as the Zerglings now making their way across the map. Bunkers need to be established and be established quickly. We'll see if perhaps the barracks will be established into a better position, perhaps create a better bit of a choke point. The Zerglings are now going to pull themselves together and perhaps get their way up the ramp. There is 1 SCV on the high ground for Polt, so Polt does have a little bit of a benefit of being able to scout out once more, but is it going to be able to do it in time? Marines now trying to go up against those units there, and now those Marines caught on the wrong side of the wall. Those Marines now just going to get taken down, and now there is 1 SCV. The SCV is taking a little bit of damage. The barracks is being built and repaired all at the same time, down to 30, 11, 1 hit point. It has been canceled as the SCV does get taken down. And now Polt is very much far behind. Taking a look at the unit count, 23 drones versus 18 SCVs. SCVs coming off the mineral line in order to fend off here, and it looks like it will be enough as 2 Marines join in on the fight. Polt gonna do a good job cleaning this up, minimizing the losses, but I believe Nerchio still has the advantage. Now, that's one of the things that Zerg players generally have a problem with in the early portion of the game. As a Zerg tries to macro up a lot of Zerglings in order to fend off the attack, they can't really deal that much damage with those Zerglings once the attack has been countered. If Polt had, say, 5 or 10 more seconds on on this barracks to set it up properly, build it, and then have Marines on the far side. Nerchio would then simply have 9 or 10 Zerglings and not be able to do much with them. With those 9 or 10 Zerglings, he was able to evenly trade with some more Marines, and that is going to help as we now see a 31 drone to a 20 SCV advantage, as we are now seeing an Overlord spotting out a Zergling down over here. Now there is one Spine Crawler on the ramp. The Spine Crawler does benefit from additional +1 armor, or just, sorry, not additional +1 armor, 2 armor, making it very difficult for unupgraded Marines to deal any significant damage. You can see that the Spine Crawler already has 300 hit points. Imagine those Marines having to deal 450 damage as opposed to the typical 300 because of that armor. And then I'm sure natural regeneration would help as well. Queen now making its way over. Marines now trying to push their way in, and oh, the Marines trying to run away. It looks like the Marines are going to have a bit of a problem, but they are going to start to fight off of creep. The creep does go rather far out though, as we are now going to go and pull the drones off the mineral line. It looks like a couple of drones could get taken out. Yes, it does look exactly like that. We now see a couple of drones finishing off the Marines there, as Nerchio now taking a 15 food advantage. 13 of that happens to be in harvesters, and now he is in a great position for this mid game. Nerchio takes a look at Polt. He does see a barracks and a factory being he does see barracks and a factory, and now Polt a little bit more desperate than normal, going for double starport, which may mean double banshees. Zerglings off over here. They're going to try to test that front door. No real luck, as the Marines are going to be able to shoot back rather easily, and now the Marines have also taken down that Overlord here. 9 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. Nerchio still with that 15 supply advantage. Barracks are now lifted off as Zerglings holding in the center portion of the map. Now, we are going to go into that double starport. Are we going into double banshees is the key question, and it looks like we are doing exactly that. Double banshees. The problem will be that there is not double refineries down here at the natural expansion. So if Polt tries to go for cloak, he's not really going to have enough gas in order to double train up those banshees until a little while later. You're going to see that the double banshees are being added. Perhaps cloak will be added right now, and now if cloak is added, that's going to be a good amount, as drones now attempting to run away. Zerglings, banelings are off over here, and the banelings may be able to perhaps deal some damage. The Zerglings are now going to perhaps try to run down into here. The Marines are going to go up as well. Banelings going to make a very, very nice splash choke point here. Oh, there you go, finishing off the rest of the units, and those Marines have been destroyed. So far, it looks like double Banshee with Cloak just now starting. We should have a fair amount of Banshees in the air, perhaps another 2 in about another 75 seconds. We are going into double evolution chamber now. Polt a little bit off his game. He doesn't have the double engineering bay like he normally does at this stage in the game, and he doesn't even have weapons upgrade, as those Marines are still unupgraded at 0-0. Banshees now in the center portion. We can see an Overseer now being added. The Overseer being added off over here. There is a Queen nearby as well. A second Queen. Oh, this is not looking good. Is the Queen going to be able to fight back against all of these units here, as the second Queen now tries to make its way in? 2 Banshees going to finish up a lot of these drones, and a lot of damage to be had, but now in comes 3 Queens. Those Queens ready to fend off and deal some harassment or counter harassment damage onto those Banshees, as those Banshees are once again flying away. Polt now behind by 25 supply, 58 versus 44 SCVs versus drones. Zerglings still sitting in the center. Not yet any indication or sign of... Nope, there we go. There is the level 1 melee upgrades. We should be getting armor upgrades in just a second. There we go, as we now are going into 4 Banshees. Oh, this is going to be bad, though. We could have Mutalisks now making their way over, and it is going to be exactly that. 5 Mutalisks making their way in, and those 5 Mutalisks are going to be able to deal a lot of damage. The Overseer is there. Banshee, or the Hatchery, taking a lot of damage, down to 500 hit points, down to 20 hit points, and oh, being rebuilt, and beautifully played by Nerchio, getting every second of life out of that Hatchery before canceling it, making sure that the Mutalisks are able to finish it off. Missile turret now being established. The missile turret only takes 25 seconds to build. How long does it take 5 Mutalisks to take down an SCV? Just fast enough, as now you're going to see the missile turret finish. Missile turret pushing back the rest of these Mutalisks here, and now all the Mutalisks can really do is perhaps do some outlying harassment. Polt now behind by 50 food. Things are not looking good for Polt, especially as he is just starting level 1 weapons upgrade. Banelings are ready to go, but once again, Nerchio does not have movement speed on his Banelings. Not going to be able to really catch up to those Marines. Even if they don't use stim, the Banelings are just slightly faster, and now going to get under the cover of some medevacs and some more Marines. Banelings trying to make their way over. Is it going to be enough to perhaps find their target? Marines, Banelings doing a nice little bit of splitting there. Both of them, all of them trying to find the target, but no real damage dealt to any of the buildings. Perhaps a couple Banelings hitting right there would have been enough, as we now see the orbital command of Polt has been established. 3 bases to 3, with Nerchio trying to establish up his 4th. No drones on it as of yet. I don't see any drones being transferred over. Just a whole bunch of slow-moving overlords. Mutalisk 9 in the air now, perhaps going to try to go after some more Marines. The Marines, however, very effective against Mutalisk. Superior range, also deals full damage to Mutalisk. And now we'll see what's going to happen next. Zerglings gathering together. Banelings are off over here. The Banelings going to be able to perhaps find a couple Marines. One Baneling does detonate prematurely, but a lot of Marines are now all simply falling. Here we go. There's a lot of Marines off over here. The Banelings are buying precious time for the Mutalisk to now perhaps take down multiple SCVs and harvesters here. And now Polt now down by about 70 supply, and things are not looking good as the orbital command now on fire. 137 damage, but there is an SCV underneath it, or there should be, yes, 2 SCVs underneath it, attempting to repair. Nerchio still wandering around to the north side here. Polt still down by 70 food. Is Nerchio going to be able to finish off some siege tanks? Yes, one siege tank does go down. Now going after a couple Marines as well. The Marines able to push away those Mutalisks as we are now going into Zerglings. Zerglings now going to perhaps try to suicide their way in. Banelings finding their target. Command center, orbital command now already destroyed. Banelings just trying to melt their way straight inside the base, and there is the GG as Polt loses game 3. So Nerchio able to hold on ever so barely, getting back into game 3 in the series. Stay tuned for game 4.